Good day, great anatomists. I'm happy and delighted to meet you today. I would like to ask you some few questions, but first, I would like you to introduce yourself, please.
Good day, great anatomist. My name is Mustapha Shaibu, a 300 level anatomy student from Prince Abubakar Audu University.
I would like to ask you, what are your experience you have had so far in anatomy as a field and as a course of study?
Yeah, when you talk about experience, uh, going into anatomy is not easy actually, because from the beginning it has not been easy. Because anatomy is something that it needs a lot of time, it needs energy, it needs experience. Yeah, it needs a lot of anything you can think of is something that demands a lot. So my experience in anatomy, I can remember in 20 level, anatomy really trains me a lot. It really trains me a lot. But nevertheless, since then I've been enjoying anatomy. I've been like trying to grow in anatomy, and now yeah, I'm really good in anatomy. I'm very proud of to be a great anatomist.
Oh, okay. That's very, very interesting. You're happy that you have interest in anatomy, but I'd like to ask you a few more questions, which is which aspect of anatomy you are interested in, like your career or field of interest?
Yeah, part of anatomy or a career that I was choosing in anatomy, I really big interest or a kind of I have interest in neuroanatomy because talking about the brain and the spinal cord is something so much demanding. It's something that I really want to know because when you talk about the nervous system, that is what coordinates the whole body. That is what coordinates the human being. So it's an amazing thing that I really want to know more about it. In neuro, I really want to go into neuroanatomy. So that is my major aspect of anatomy that I want to go in.
Okay, okay. So as that is your aspect of anatomy and you are interested in neuroanatomy, I'd like you to, in few minutes or second, describe the neuroanatomy briefly.
Yeah, when you talk about neuroanatomy, you what you are trying to say is what is the anatomy of nervous system. That is just basically layman understanding. So when you talk about the nervous system coordinates the whole system in the body because we have a lot of systems in the body. So we don't really need to like go back and be mentioning all the systems in the body because I just here to just go straight to the point. So nervous system is a system that coordinates the whole body. It coordinates how the body functions, how the body does everything. So when you talk about the nervous system, you must talk about the brain and you must talk about the spinal cord because these are the things that consists of the central nervous system because we have the nervous system is majorly divided into two, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. So when you talk about the central nervous system, we have the brain and the spinal cord. Then when you talk about the peripheral nervous system, we have the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So these are the peripheral nervous system. So but when sometimes the peripheral nervous system, sometimes they include the enteric nervous system. So when you talk about the nervous system, the central nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord, the brain is a soft tissue which is classified into different parts. We have the cerebrum, we have the brainstem, and we have the cerebellum. Then the brainstem is also consists of three major parts. We have the midbrain, we have the pons, and we have the medulla oblongata, which continues with the spinal cord through the magnum, the foramen magnum of the occipital part of the skull. So when you talk about the cerebrum also consists of some several parts of the some several parts that consist of the cerebrum, and it classifies into majorly into lobes. We have the frontal lobes, we have the temporal, the parietal lobes, we have the temporal lobes, and lastly we have the occipital lobes. When you talk about the frontal lobe is majorly for intellectual functions. When you talk about the parietal lobes, is majorly for emotions. It plays part of the emotions, functions of the emotions.
Thank you. That was a nice one, and really appreciate your effort. And we are happy. But we have the last question for you, which is do you have any innovative advice to give to anatomy as a society?
Yeah, when you talk about innovations, when you talk about anatomists, we are creative, we are innovative, and we are also very intelligent, because these are set of students that they really want to learn, they really want to get what they want to get. So when you talk about being innovative or being creative, when you talk about being creative now, when by doing a tissue pot, when you use tissue pot, creating tissue pot for your samples is more better than using just a container. Because for instance, when you put a sample, a histological sample or a cytological sample to a container for a long period of time, the container can actually give some elements you don't really want to see in your tissue for a long period of time, so which will actually affect the morphology of the tissue. But when with the help of tissue pots, your tissue can stay for a while, as long as you want to, because this tissue pot is made up of a lot of things that can actually preserve the tissue for a long period.